welcome back to Dom's Corner, everybody. I'm your host, Dom Martino, and sitting over to my left on the news is Miss Sammy Ramirez. Sammy, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Doing better now.
Nice.
I was having a bad day earlier, but I'm doing better now. So happy to be here. Happy to see all of you guys out there. And we got a lot of fun stuff, a lot of fun news to talk about today. So should be really, really awesome and wonderful. And yeah, Sammy's going to bring us a Bridgerton review today, so that's awesome as well. Bridgerton season 1 I still have not watched. I hear it's great, but we'll see what Sammy has to say about it. And so hey guys, before we get started here today, please hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and leave some feedback in the comment section if you haven't done so already. And Sammy, how you doing today? I mean, you said you were
doing good.
But I already asked.
I'm doing all right. Had a pretty chill day.
Yeah.
Not as bad as yours. So I'm doing
That's
all right.
good. Can I get you to move like this way, or sorry, it'd actually be yeah, that way, just
like
a tad.
Right here.
Just no, sorry, it'd be the other way, I guess.
This way?
Yeah, just a tad, a tad. Right.
Cool. Right here.
A little bit more, just a tad bit more, just tad more, tad.
Like, shift my chair over.
Okay, perfect. Thank
right
you.
Here?
Right there, perfect.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
Appreciate you. But yeah, so yeah, I know that one of the cool things is that happened like this past week is the Muppet Show dropped on Disney Plus, and Sammy and I have been watching like a lot of that. I definitely wanted to talk about that here today because that's just who doesn't love the Muppet Show? It's so wonderful, and I know you hadn't seen it before, so that's like a real cool like milestone for you to hit in your entertainment watching career. But yeah, I mean, freaking, you started with Alice Cooper, right?
I did.
All right, and that episode is amazing. Like, if anybody hasn't seen it, that freaking episode is awesome. I mean, okay, so like one of my favorite things about that, I was telling you this, but the fucking arrows, that arrow bit where Kermit and the guy goes out there, he's like, don't yell, it makes me nervous. And then there's like
and they just keep coming backstage. They just keep
all the arrows.
coming.
Just all over the place. That was so hilarious. And Alice Cooper, by the way, is still like, I think, one of the most committed guests that they've ever had on there, and just
was having a ball.
Yeah. Destroys. And like, he commits to the bits. The beginning is funnier than hell when Scooter walks in. He's like, Mr. Cooper, I think there's something you should know. Those monsters aren't ours. He's like, I know, they're mine.
They're mine. He just completely, because I feel like how this went down was like Jim Henson or whoever was like, all right, so they were like, I think our best bet is we lean in really hard to like the scary part of it and make it like stupid funny that people think you're literally like Satan. Like, what if we literally have like you trying to get Kermit to sign a contract with the devil? And like that, where else can that happen except on the Muppet Show?
Right.
I think that, I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, Kermit just, what would it cost? Not a penny, just your soul.
Your soul. Oh my God. And he is working that cape like it is no one's business. He like, that is a performer. That is how you know he is a performer. Yeah,
for real. And then it's followed by the guys just coming back in. The guy's got the Muppet has the arrow through his head. Just like, oh, you know me, in one ear out the other.
That was really good.
And then you got that episode. I mean, you got the Beaker skit, the Beaker and Dr. Munson Honeydew skit. That's
my God, and I love really the clock.
Funny.
I loved the clock too. Just such a small thing, but it's so good. It's like going forward, back, and then back, and then forward more, and then forward, and then back again.
That stuff is so great.
Good.
Yeah, I love Beaker and Munson Honeydew are two of my favorite characters from the Muppets for sure. They crack me up every time they're on. Swedish Chef isn't he? I don't think he was in that one, but the Swedish Chef is another one of my favorites. Just oh my gosh, I don't know which. Go ahead.
Did you watch the? Have you watched the Julie Andrews one? Because that was another one that I watched just because I'm obsessed with her. So
Not
I had to
yet.
watch that
I
one.
need to get to that though. I will watch.
There's a really funny running bit with a cow, and there's a part of that involves the Swedish Chef, and it's really funny. Like, it made me laugh out loud.
That's not the chocolate mousse one, is it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I remember an episode when I was younger where he was like, oh, today we're going to make a chocolate mousse. And then, like,
Yeah.
he actually brings out, and he's like, first we have the chocolate. And then he brings out an actual mousse, and he's like, and here we have the mousse. And then he, like, starts spreading the chocolate onto the mousse's face. And this moose is just running around the set the entire show with chocolate all over him. This poor guy.
Yeah. So good.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. And it just, oh my god. Then you watched, you saw, well, first of all, the other thing
And then I love how then Kermit goes like, I wish, like, or somebody says like, I wish something, like, I wish the show could just go nice for a little bit. And then it actually does. I kept expecting, and then it goes into Kermit's nephew singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and it's so sweet.
It
and
is.
it just, a genuine sweet moment. I kept thinking it was going to get interrupted or something, and it never did. I was like,
yeah.
It was so beautiful. Just a little thrown in, just and a little beautiful moment on top of every other wonderful thing that we're doing here.
100%, 100%. And then the other thing is too, the beginning though, because you were talking about Alice working that cape, and that beginning when he sings "Welcome to My Nightmare," that performance is unbelievable.
So good.
It's so unbelievable. It's like everything they did, all the
because it's all live, right?
Well, it's definitely not like he definitely did it live. Like obviously they added effects later and stuff, like not vocal effects,
but also because like the puppeteers, like they're all doing it, like they're all singing, live.
Yeah. But like that effect that they added where his green face goes over the whole thing, I was like, that's really, really cool. That's super awesome. Like I wasn't expecting it.
Gosh.
I mean, I forgot all about it till I rewatched it yesterday, and I was like, I forgot how cool that actually looked.
Was it that one or the Vincent Price one where it ends and they have, or no, it is the Alice Cooper one where it ends and they're holding the contract, and then Gonzo's like, it's not the contract, it's the special effects bill.
It's the bill for special effects. And then like all of them just
they're like, oh no, come on. Yeah, Kermit's like, I don't want to think about it. Let's cut it.
Alice included. Like Alice is so upset about that bill.
He's like, oh no.
Oh, it's so great. It's wonderful. But the Vincent Price one, I gotta say, I think really is the funnier one of the two. Like after I rewatched them last night, and I was really surprised.
Man. I love those damn ghosts. I don't know what it was.
Oh my gosh, yes,
those
yes,
like 3 ghosts funny. That kept. Oh my god, I don't know what it was. They were so funny. If there was like, if they sell plushes of those ghosts, not saying I'd purchase it, but
he goes,
I love those ghosts.
I'm going into the moving business locally. No, ghost to ghost.
Oh my gosh, everyone was like should we go get a drink? And it was like, well, we can't have any drinks here. I was like, why? They don't serve spirits here.
I love that. And then the guy who was like, what is it? He says something like, how about a bite to eat? And then like the vampire, or is like, how about we grab a bite? And the vampire's like, yeah, sounds good or something. He just like bites her in the neck. That was really funny. Mm-hmm. That stuff's hilarious. I love the
oh my gosh, and the whole like Dracula bit where Fozzie's like, where did you read about this place? And Gonzo's like, in Vampire Weekly.
Yes.
Or in Vampire Weekly.
Yes. In the mansion skit, or the Haunted Mansion skit. Yeah, that's so great. And what happens to Vincent Price is just amazing. But the first thing that he says when he's like he's talking about after midnight, the master turns into a terrible vampire, and then Vincent Price is like, and then I get mean. That's just cracks me up. And then he got the where he's like, what day is it? It's like it's New Year's Eve, and he's like, no, New Year's Eve. The master turns into Jack Parnell, and then he comes up looking like when he's got this ridiculous shit on, and he's got the noisemaker. He's just and they all freak out. That's amazing. Like
oh, good. Yes.
Oh my gosh, there's so many great ones in there. I love the was it Wayne and Wanda, when they're like Wayne and Wanda,
right?
And then they go into that thing, and then she's singing the song, and she's like bewitched, and then her head like explodes into something weird, and the guy's just like bothered and bewildered, like trying to. And that's the whole skit.
And then that's the whole
That's
skit.
the
Yeah.
skit.
They're like, cut it.
That's part of the magic of the Muppets is when they like shorten
Right.
their skits like magically out of nowhere. Was it the Vincent Price
Right.
one where the guy was getting eaten by the furniture too? Because that was amazing. Where the newscast
Yes.
and the guy.
Oh my gosh. And oh my gosh, I'm like, it is totally impossible for your furniture to come to life. Do not worry about it whatsoever.
The guy's
Chasing him.
recliner just opens up his mouth and the guy turns around and he's like, his face is just the best.
And then the news reporter's desk.
Yes.
He's like, that story was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
One.
We gotta mention the this might have been my favorite of the whole thing is the guy, the cooking show that they did, and that monster. Oh, you look delicious. And he just keeps eating everything. And then next thing you know, he eats the chef.
Like the world's greatest chef and the world's greatest eaters.
Yeah.
And he just keeps going. And then eventually Vincent Price is like, well, they do love frog legs.
Yeah.
Gets to Kermit.
Yeah. That was amazing. I love that bit.
That was really good.
I love that bit.
I love the beginning too, how like Kermit's talking, he's like, all right, this is the intellectual part of the show. All right, everybody. He's like, we gotta start now. And then like it leads into that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
For sure. That was so, yeah. I love that bit. That's one of the best that they've ever done, for sure. I like the, oh man, speaking of the Alice Cooper, when the guy comes up and insults Alice Cooper and he's like, why, thank you. Going back into that was amazing too. That's another one. And then,
oh yeah, I think it's Sam the Eagle, and he's like, you are disgusting, revolting, demonic, and he's like, thank you. Yeah.
Is that the name of that Muppet? Sammy Eagle?
Sam the Eagle, yeah. I believe
Really?
so. I think that's his name.
And know that.
Also, was that the this might have been the Julie Andrews one, I don't remember, but there was one where Sam the Eagle's like reading a thing about who's like the like conservationists in the wild are trying to protect all of these species and it's ridiculous.
It might have been.
Does that ring a bell?
No, it doesn't.
And he's just like listing off all of these like species that are gonna be that he wants to be endangered basically, and then he gets to like the American bald eagle and he's like, the American bald eagle. It was funny. It was like that was in the Julie Andrews one. That was a funny bit.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Man, I love the Muppet Show. So
Would
great.
you say it's your favorite Muppet? I have a top two, and it's hard for me to pick.
Oh, that's a really good question. Gosh.
Even my top two is really brutal. It's hard to pick a top two.
Okay, like, I feel like they come as a pair, so they're not my favorite. So maybe, like, my second favorite would be the critics that sit up in the press box.
Right, okay.
I
count that can be one. That counts as one. I'd count that as, yeah.
And then, oh, man. I almost have to go with the Swedish Chef. I don't know. He makes me laugh really hard, but I love, if they come as a pair, in my third favorite, I'd probably throw Munson Honeydew and Beaker, in the third slot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I would go Swedish Chef. Then it would be the critics in number two. Gosh, the critics though,
they're so good.
They might almost be number one. I mean, just because I don't know, they're in every single show. They have so many great moments. You know what I mean? Like, so I almost have to put them in one.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna throw them in one. I'll throw Swedish Chef in two, and then my third is Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker. But that's subject to change, that order. You know what I mean? Because like there's so many great ones. And then now that I know his name, I mean, Sammy the Eagle probably would pop into top five too.
Yeah.
What about yours?
Mine's really hard. So I have to preface being I've seen 3 episodes total of the Muppet Show. So this is coming from my knowledge of seeing most of them. There are 2 I haven't seen, seeing all but 2 of all the Muppet movies. But so mine are more like classic picks, but I really do love them. It's hard. It's a hard tie with Kermit and Fozzie Bear.
Really?
They're my 2 favorites. I love Kermit the Frog so much. I love I really love the original Muppet movie and his whole storyline in that, and his, because he really is like the hero of that story, and it's about you know, like him realizing his dream and also friendship and, you know, all of it. And I just love all of that. And he really is, I think, the heart of the show. And and I love how he's an extension of Jim Henson as well. That
Yeah.
I just love Kermit. Oh my God, I just love Kermit the Frog so much. And then I just love Fozzie Bear, the bear that tells the jokes. I've been working on a Fozzie Bear impression because I love him so much.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna do one now because it's not good. It's very bad.
Garrett! I don't know, something like
Waka
that.
waka. That's it. That's my impression. It's bad.
Yeah.
But I love Fozzie Bear so much.
I do like
I
Fozzie
just
Bear.
love that he's just so funny. I've never not laughed at a Fozzie Bear joke.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah.
Like every time he's on screen, I laugh. I love him so much.
Yeah, it's so difficult, and I'm not like picking side characters because, like,
Yeah.
just to be cool. Like, I'm being like, I'm trying to be like, I'm being honest here. Like when I say
Yeah.
like they're side characters in the Muppet Show. They put they put just as much effort into them that they do the
Yeah.
like say Kermit or Fozzie, you know, which I think
For
are like
sure.
the main two in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
you can't go a show without those two
They're
interacting at some
definitely
point.
yeah. They're definitely Frank Oz and Jim Henson's like that was each like their number one
Yeah.
for sure. And they were, you know, 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then Gonzo's
You
pretty
know.
common too.
Gonzo and Miss Piggy are tied for number 2. Again, basic picks because I love the movie so much, but I love Miss Piggy and I love Gonzo so much as well. They're
Yeah.
2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're both pretty high up there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go by who I laugh at more, but then again, like
Right.
I can't like take away the popularity of say the Kermits and the Gonzos and the Miss Piggies,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Which are
Mhm.
really it's really astounding how popular they are, like and iconic
Yeah.
they are.
And for a reason. I got it. They hold up. Like it's for a reason.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure.
They're just such wonderful characters.
I love them. Like I do. I love them all. That's why it's so hard to pick because they're all so good in their own way. Like Scooter is another one that
I
I
also love
really love.
Scooter.
Scooter's great. Every time Scooter's backstage talking to Kermit or doing something. The Stallone one, it was so funny because like Scooter was like selling tickets to the groupies, like backstage passes he wasn't supposed to be. But it was just really funny. And I guess he ends up talking them into like making Kermit think that they bought backstage passes for Kermit instead of Stallone just so they could stick around and see Stallone. But it's really weird though that these puppets are like into Stallone as much as they are. I found that to be very odd, but
They loved Rocky. They loved the underdog. They love an underdog. Those Muppets.
Oh yeah. If you guys out there, the listeners, ever want to hear Sylvester Stallone sing and dance, go watch this episode of The Muppet Show on Disney Plus because Jesus Christ, he's not good. But the bits are amazing.
Right.
The bits are amazing. Like they work really well for him. I don't know what it is, but like he's putting in 100%, I feel, you know, but it's never going to be good. There's no way that voice can sing well, you know, but he is putting in 100% for sure. And I don't know, there's one song where he's like I don't know, he says like Stallone like lines where like Stallone like lines shouldn't be but in the song, but like he'll say it and like it just be like he'll be like in the middle of the song just like, hey, what are you doing over there, you know, just things like that. Things you would expect Stallone to say. And it's wonderful. It's a really, really wonderful thing. So, yeah, I can't think of any. I mean, my favorite bit, too, I mean, until this day, is still probably the Manumina bit, which I still need to figure out which episode that came from.
Yeah.
Because that one is amazing, where the guy just shows up in the most random spots, but and the two things with the fucking...
Yeah.
They're just...
like, yeah.
Gosh damn, I love that song so much. I love that.
So good.
I love that bit. That's so great. That's so great. I was thinking about this too. Yeah, Sammy, have you watched What About Bob yet? Being the
No, I haven't. I have not.
Oh my gosh.
Fortunately.
You need to see this movie.
I saw Judas and the Black Messiah.
You did?
That was incredible.
And did you enjoy it?
Loved it.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Was my review spot on, do you think? Or would you tweak things in there? Or did you think it was like pretty par for the course for what you saw?
I think it was no, I don't know if I would change anything. I really like the way it was structured and how, it starts and ends with the William O'Neill interview. And I like how there are certain moments where they don't explain something to you until much later on. You just kind of jump into it and roll with it. And then,
Yeah.
later the movie will explain it to you. And I really love that. I'm a big fan of show don't tell.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
show me the emotions. This is visual media. Like show
Yeah.
me the emotions. Don't tell me that someone is feeling emotions, And that's what this movie completely did with,
True.
like character beats, but also with information and plot,
Yeah.
which was great. Oh, I loved it. And the performances, my God. I mean, Daniel Kaluuya, absolutely phenomenal, but I really think Lakeith Stanfield is really incredible in this movie. Because to me, he's playing the harder role a little bit.
Really? I disagree.
Well, I mean, I think I feel like emotionally the harder role to play.
Maybe.
I feel
Maybe
like
there I'll get you.
because right. Because I mean, not spoil the movie, but knowing William O'Neill's life after the events of the movie, it really like watching, the beginnings of that happen and through Lakeith Stanfield's performance, I thought was absolutely incredible. Because there's like moments of it where, when you discover what happened at the end of his life, it adds up. You're like, because I've seen beats of it happen already in this movie, and and I think he's the more morally gray character, and I think that's more harder to play versus, basically in the context of the title, I think it's harder to play Judas than it is to play Jesus. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get you. I just think that Daniel Kaluuya
He was incredible,
disappears
though.
into his role. Like I had to
Yeah.
keep reminding myself multiple times throughout the movie that it was Daniel Kaluuya, because it's just I've never seen him play a role like this. Like it was
Absolutely.
It was such a I don't mean this in a bad way, but it was such a stretch for him in terms of his
Right.
He pulled it off, but it was a stretch for what you would typically see him do, I felt. And so yeah, I had to keep reminding myself it was him. But yeah, I mean the ending, I won't without spoiling, very disturbing. I mean,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it was just
Put me in a really weird place after. Yeah. It's again one of those movies where it's like I don't know if I'd ever watch it in its entirety again.
Right, that's how I feel.
It just puts you in such a weird place. Also, I mean, again, not to get political, but of how so much of the stuff that was happening in the movie and what they're talking about is still completely unresolved today.
Yeah.
And like, just having that settle in. It's the same of, at the end of Black Klansman, they really dig that in deep of like this shit is still happening right now, happened today.
Yeah.
Outside your doorstep, it's still going on.
That's
And that, unfortunately, very much. And that puts you in it's a hard watch. It's a hard pill to swallow, a necessary one,
for sure,
but very difficult.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just it's it's a movie again, like you were saying. I won't watch it again, probably not for a little while. I mean, sometimes I do get in moods when I want to watch those hard to watch type movies where it's like, I want to see it just for the filmmaking element of it, and it's done really well. And this one is done well. Again, I still do feel like, unlike something like Schindler's List, you know what I mean? Like Schindler's List, it's disturbing, but you feel Spielberg with you throughout the entirety of that movie. And here, I didn't necessarily feel like a uniqueness to this director. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was just so straightforward that I just, except for like maybe say the beginning where it was like a 70s crime show type feel. Other than that, I didn't really feel like a uniqueness, because like once you get like past the opening stuff, it starts to just become so straightforward, which I think is on purpose. Don't get me wrong. I just, for myself personally, prefer to have that little bit more of an artistic flair to it. So I just didn't feel that here, but I feel like it would have been more rewatchable had it had something like that throughout it. And it's okay. It's a great movie. The message got across, and it did it did its job. It's just that, again, for myself, if you want something to be rewatchable, I do feel that you need to add those types of things, but they didn't decide to go in that direction, and that's fine. I mean, it's not my movie, it's their movie, so Ain't show friends, it's
I
show
also
business.
right. Yeah. I did also watch it's on YouTube. I watched the episode of Eyes on the Prize that William O'Neill was doing the interview for in the movie. And I highly recommend it. It's on YouTube and it was quite remarkable. I watched it like immediately after I
Right.
finished the movie too, and so, it like really hit it just hit that much hard. Like the hammer just kept hitting the nail on the head
Yeah.
and it just kept
Yeah.
settling in and I started getting more angry and more sad and
Yeah.
because this is I can't believe this happened in
I
American history.
I
This
did
is a tragedy on all
I
accounts.
was tempted to watch that interview and I probably should, but again, it was
It's
like you were
fascinating.
saying,
They
it's
also, yeah, it's like the first half of it is about Fred Hampton, and then the second half of it is about the Attica prison, which
uh
I actually had like really no idea about that. So as it was happening,
yeah.
I like I literally had no idea that that had happened. So I mean, spoiler alert for history and in that, but like how they all these prisoners had gotten um, you know, uh, all the police, they had gotten police guards hostage and were just asking for, they had a list of demands that were like better health care. We want guards that speak Spanish. We want like just basic respect. We want like better food. We want, basic rights as we're living here in prison. And they started a negotiation and then eventually the government came in and tear gassed everyone, and it was basically a massacre
Yeah.
on the prisoners after they had tried to negotiate just for their basic rights. And I had no idea about that, so that was that was a double tragedy
Yeah, and
for
again,
me.
I was tempted to watch that, but like you were saying,
Mhm.
it made you so much more angry and disturbed. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna be in that place, and I really didn't want to, but I will eventually. I know I will,
Hmm.
but I just because I
Yeah.
am fascinated by the story even till
Hmm.
now. Yeah, I guess the best way to describe it, here's a really good way to describe what I was kind of looking for out of
Hmm.
it that it didn't have. This is probably the best example I can give. Okay, so Joker, right? Super
Right.
disturbing movie. I would say it's if this didn't happen.
Oh, I can't hear you. I cannot hear you. Oh, you're back. Cool. I can hear. I can hear you. Cool. No worries. Okay. Cool.
So strange. Um, what happened here?
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, so I have
Cool.
sound again. Sorry about that, everybody, who's
Cool. Cool.
listening or watching. Yeah. Okay. So, here's the best way to describe everything I wanted from the movie. Like,
Yes.
and this is not everything I wanted, but like something extra. Like, not the same exact thing, but Joker, right? On similar levels of disturbing, which is like, uh if this hadn't happened in real life, like they would be on the same level of disturbing. You know what I mean? But you have the
Right.
Judas and the Black Messiah has the thing that this was something that actually has happened. But other than that, they have that same disturbing element to
Right.
it. So Joker, this is the artistic flair I'm talking about. So Joker adds things like the dance in the bathroom or the
Yes.
dance on the stairs. Those are moments that I would have liked to have seen in this movie to know that the director was there, not dancing
Right.
obviously for this. You would do
But
something
right.
different, but something in the vein of that to where it was like that was like it had that artistic pop to it, and you could feel the filmmaker present with the movie. Like I just felt like it would have benefited a
Yeah.
little bit more from that. That said, that's my biggest problem with the movie. The rest of it is hands on, hands down, amazing. Like
For
it's
sure.
really wonderful, and
Yeah. And
yeah.
I mean, I just remember too. Part of watching the whole documentary and everything. Again, I really realized that the movie is kind of, it's not, an adaptation of the documentary, but there's many moments in the documentary that are exactly adapted into straight into the movie. And it makes you show that this is far more like a character study and more of a like, we need to let people know that this is a thing that happened, far more than, like the artistic kind of drive of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree is what I'm saying. I agree.
For
But I
sure.
think it's for the reason of uh I think the reason why there's a lack of it is because of the, necessity of the story, and to mainly get us to understand these characters in history that we've never known before.
For sure. For
But
sure.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. Hey, Sammy, I'm going to check on this audio problem while I do that
Cool.
because I want to see if there's a reason this, because this did this one other time once and I want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can fix this really quick. But
Cool,
while
cool.
I go and do that, I'll be over there by my mixer. If you can start up the Bridgerton
Yes.
non-spoiler review, that would be
Perfect.
great. So, yeah, go ahead and do what you do.
Perfect. All right. So Bridgerton, it's a show on Netflix. It is adapted from a book series by, I believe her name is Julia Quinn, a series of romance novels. This first series is the first book. I have not read any of the novels, but it is very much based on the Regency era, which is where Jane Austen novels take place and the time they were written. And I'm a huge fan of those. So I was really looking forward going into this show. It was totally right up my alley. And I loved it. It's a really great show. It's definitely an acquired taste. I don't really think it's necessarily for everybody. Not to say that it's, like a woman's show or kind of more like that, but it is an acquired taste. I think you need to understand that it's basically if Gossip Girl took place in a Jane Austen novel. That's what this is. And you need to know that going in, and you need to know that it's all going to be about the relationships and the drama that ensue. And but it does a great job of that. The characters, I think, are really, really rich in here. I love Simon and Daphne are two main characters, and you follow them most of the time. And again, I absolutely fell in love with both of them. There is, I will say, quite a lot of sex in the show, which it is infamous for. And it makes sense in the story. It's never, really there to be there. Every time there's, a sex scene, it's between an emotional moment. So it didn't really bother me that much. I didn't find it like raunchy or anything. There is, though, in that there is some problematic, to say the least, things with Simon and Daphne in their relationship, especially once they are married. Spoiler, not spoiler alert. I believe that's, I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. But later in their relationship, there are problematic things that happen that to today's standards to me, were quite shocking that they kept it the way it was. There were some things that I thought could have been made less problematic, that could have made the show just as good. But that's really my only big gripe with it. I love the characters, the entire Bridgerton family. I absolutely fell in love with. I do know that the Bridgerton novels, each one follows the coming out season of each Bridgerton child. And I love the entire family so far. They're great. Daphne's older brothers, I really enjoyed their storylines and where they would go. I forget her younger sister's name, but the one who was searching for the identity of Lady Whistledown, she was really great as well. Also, Julie Andrews, I've mentioned before, I'm a stan of, does the voice of Lady Whistledown, who is the Gossip Girl basically of this world. And she's incredible in it. And I mean, I would say it's really great if you love Regency area, if you love Pride and Prejudice, if you love Jane Austen, if you love all of that, and if you love rom-coms, if you are really into that vibe, then I think this is the show for you. You're absolutely gonna love it. But it is acquired taste. It's not everybody's cup of tea. But if it is your cup of tea, it is absolutely remarkable. A bit spicy at times, but great cup of tea.
People tell me if I
That I
like
got.
Game of Thrones, I'm gonna like this show. Is that true?
Um, I don't know if that's necessarily true. That's a bit weird distinction. I don't know.
I've been told
There's
that a
it's
couple
it's
times for some
not
reason.
it's not fantasy. It's not it's definitely not fantasy. And I mean there is like I mean, there's a lot of sex, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of, intrigue, but it's all the thing with like Game of Thrones is a lot more of, like the political intrigue, and Bridgerton, because it is in the Regency era when, the society that you lived in was your absolute everything, and whoever came into your society was the biggest deal in the absolute world. And so it's the politics of that, but it's not the
I
same of
gotcha.
fighting for kingdoms. It's fighting for
Yeah.
a woman's virtue before she gets married.
Right. Well, maybe I'll put it on one day and enjoy it. But
Yeah.
well, thank you for that review.
Yeah.
Guys, comment below. Let us know what you thought of Bridgerton. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you just think it wasn't for you, or did you think it was definitely up your alley? Let us know in the comment section below.
That's what I think. It's either totally up your alley or not your thing.
Right.
And that's going to determine how it goes.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
I felt
it's
about
hard. Yeah, it's hard for me to recommend to everybody because it's like if you've seen Jane Austen adaptations and you really liked it, then you'll probably like it. If you watch those and you wanted to kill yourself, then this is not for you.
Oh man. Anyway, what's
That's the review.
what do we got for the news?
Oh, all right, for the news. Let me see here. All right. So first thing is Edgar Wright is directing a new adaptation of Stephen King's The Running Man.
Yeah, see, we needed Ian here.
Right.
Edgar Wright's like his favorite filmmaker. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the second time that this novel, Stephen King's 1982 novel, has been adapted. The first time was in an Arnold Schwarzenegger role in 1987.
Yeah.
So this is the second adaptation we are getting, and I have never read it. I've never seen the original either, so I'm quite blind to this. But it follows a contestant taking part in an extremely violent game in a dystopian United States. And the novel takes place in 2025. So I'm feeling this is either going to be completely awesome or going to make us all have an existential crisis. Yes. Or maybe both.
Yeah, possibly. That's very possible, knowing Edgar Wright. I think that, okay. So first of all, I'll just say that I'm excited to have Edgar Wright, or to see another Edgar Wright movie. That's like first and foremost. Running Man is good. It's interesting. I've seen it back in the day. It's been a while. I'm tempted to rewatch it now that we're getting another adaptation of it, for sure. So I mean, it's interesting. The first one had Arnold, so I mean, it's like who do you kind of get to fill those shoes? Maybe you just kind of go in a different direction with it where you don't have the big action guy. I think that it would be really interesting to see maybe Simon Pegg fill those shoes. He's really extremely talented. I think a lot more talented than people realize, and maybe if you put him in that kind of role, people will see that he's just extremely talented. Kind of one of the weirder type Stephen King adaptations for sure from back in the day. But yeah, having Edgar Wright do another movie is just exciting within itself. People will see it because Edgar Wright's name is attached. He's kind of gotten that status for himself in this day and age. So he's just one of those filmmakers that people love. They'll go see it. It will do well, I believe. And then you have a name that people recognize from the 80s. So they're going to probably want to see another version of this. So I mean, it's not something that I'm like hooting and hollering for, but it's cool. I definitely want to. It's Edgar Wright, so I'm down. I'm into it. I want to see his take on it. He typically is a guy who does original stuff, so this will be interesting to see him kind of adapt a Stephen King novel. That's usually is not his wheelhouse, but I think that this movie, it's going to be super colorful, and I think that kind of fits the video game kind of aesthetic that they try to go for with this, and I'm excited. I'll check it out. I'm excited to a degree. It's Edgar Wright, so yeah, I think he's awesome. Yeah. He's one of the best, so yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Again, haven't seen the original, haven't read the original, but again, love Edgar Wright, and anything that he wants to do, I am willing to see.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. Cool. All right. So next up we have So Tom Hardy is going to star in the Netflix action thriller from the Raid director Gareth Evans. So Gareth Evans, known for his work on the Raid franchise, is going to be directing Tom Hardy in a new action thriller. He will lead the cast of the film is called Havoc as a detective rescuing a politician's son while unraveling a web of corruption in his city following a drug deal gone wrong, according to Netflix. So this sounds fun. Seems like it's going to be a great action thriller. I mean, love Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
I
Havoc. Wasn't
love to see him in more action thrillers always.
Havoc the Anne Hathaway sex movie? I mean, did anybody see that? That was
Maybe.
That was Havoc. Yeah, her and her friends wreaked havoc. That was a good movie. It was a good movie, that Havoc. I don't think this has anything to do with
2005.
Yep, I don't think this has anything to do with that. I'm pretty sure it's completely isolated. Gareth Evans, I don't know much about. I've heard the Raid movies are amazing and that I need to see them. But I do kind of know like the style that he goes for, which everything I've heard about that sounds really, really great. So to see Tom Hardy kind of take one of those on sounds really, really fun to me. I have heard that Gareth Evans is like slightly, I guess, more male centric in his movies. So I do hope that he kind of comes around on that and we get a really awesome female, starring in this thing. It's one of the things that's turned me off of the Raid movies. As awesome and fun as they sound like they could be, I just always have been like, male centric. I like diversity in my action films, and John Wick was kind of going down the male centric path there for a while, and then finally decided to add some really interesting females to the mix. So I guess my point is like I have not seen the movies, the Raid movies, but this sounds fun. I like a good action flick. You got Tom Hardy there. I love Tom Hardy. I'm typically on board to see anything that he's in. If it's going to be a good performance, I mean, it typically is. So I mean, it's just I'm very excited for this on that level. But like on the same hand, I'm like, okay, we're kind of doing, it sounds like it's going to be an American movie, which is typically not the thing that Gareth Evans does. So it's like, if it's an American movie, make it a little less male centric. That would be my one like stipulation on that. But I got to see the Raid movies yet. I'm not the expert on this. But I hear nothing but incredible things about them. And yeah, Tom Hardy in an action movie. Give it to me. I'll take it.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
All right. What's next?
All right. Next up, we got Hawkeye set. We got Hawkeye set photos with Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner in action. That's pretty much the story. We got new set photos featuring Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop in her full costume with full bow and arrow, as well as Jeremy Renner on set in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have, and then again, there we have quotes from Haley Steinfeld just saying how excited she is about the role, and she says Kate Bishop is such a badass. There's no denying that. She's so smart and witty and quick, and her physical ability to do so many things is through the roof. I'm already there's nothing. I mean, unless the trailer maybe, but I am so hyped for this series. I mean, there's nothing more that can get me excited for it. Especially with this point with WandaVision. I'm like, with the Marvel MCU shows, the Disney Plus shows, I'm like, just give it. I trust you guys. I want it.
Yeah, these images. There was. I don't know. Again, these are like.
I didn't look at all of them.
These are set photos, so like. We still yet to be seen, but the way that the images were lit, I mean, it looks very light and bright, and I'm not necessarily sure that that's what I want from the show. I definitely want something that's a little more dark out of this, and I'm hoping that that's not the direction they go. That said, I honestly didn't have a lot of interest in this show until I heard that Haley Steinfeld was going to be playing Kate Bishop alongside Jeremy Renner, and then that got me stoked for for it. I mean, the Hawkeye
Right.
name, unfortunately, I like the character a lot, but like it wasn't enough to just sell me on like the excitement level. And then so when we got the Kate Bishop Haley Steinfeld news, that got me so much more hyped for the show. So seeing these two together in the show at all, and then in their full outfits, I mean, it makes me very stoked for this. I can't wait. I think that those two are going to have magnificent chemistry. I think that she'll kill it, he'll kill it. I think they'll do really, really great work with this. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'm so hyped for this show. What really did get me as well was the addition of Kate Bishop and Haley Steinfeld playing her. Because again, that just adds a whole new element to this show, that we're going to be introduced to a character that we have never seen before.
Yeah.
And so, that just adds a whole new excitement that you're going to get to explore this whole new character and relationship.
Yeah. She's such a terrific actress. I mean,
she really is.
She's really, she needs roles like these. I mean, that's something that's a lot more in the spotlight. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think her name is enough to sell the show. So like, right. I feel like obviously it's a Marvel show, so it's gonna be watched. I feel like, but I just so I feel like having her in this could actually be a real big turnaround for her acting career. Yeah, so I that excites me too. I want to see her. I want to see her blow up and become huge. And I mean, honestly, I saw the first season of Dickinson. Wasn't great to me. Gotta be honest.
Haven't seen it.
I wasn't massive into it. It had cool parts for sure, and it had a really cool style to it. But the first season to me of that was like, when we go from point A to point B, we don't really get anywhere. So it's like, so I was just a little disappointed on the payoff of that show more than anything. But season 2's out there now. I know I got to check that out at some point, and maybe it's even better. And then so if that's good, and then this blows up and this is successful as it hopefully should be, I think it could be a huge turnaround for her acting career. She seems to be getting bigger in the music scene more than anything, but if she can pull off the acting parts, what if she can pull off the acting part, but if she pulls it off immensely here, and it becomes one of these characters that people just love in the show. I'm not talking hardcore comic book fans. Obviously, they like Kate Bishop. I'm talking casual viewers, introducing them to Kate Bishop and making them fall in love. It would be a huge turnaround for her acting career. So I think that this is a really great opportunity for her to be in. And yeah, so I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember seeing True Grit in theaters when it came out and being like, I think Haley Steinfeld and I might be we're definitely around the same age, and being like, oh, that girl's like my age and she's fucking incredible.
Yeah, she's uber talented in that movie.
And I remember, I was like just blown away, because like up until then, all the actors that were my age were like on Disney Channel and Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
So like it was amazing, and I think she's only gotten better from there.
Right, and I mean she was absolutely snubbed in Edge of 17. I mean she should have gotten nominated for that.
Agreed.
Absolutely snubbed.
That movie, my God. Yeah,
she should have gotten a nomination for sure. Why she did not is beyond me, because she was incredible.
Yeah.
That is one of the best movies out there. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
That movie's incredible.
So yeah, I just it baffles me, but yeah, I'm excited. I hope that she gets to that point again, and she's like, she's kind of high up on the people's lists for most hireable actresses out there, because I do want to see her in more. That's the other thing. I want to see her do a lot more. So,
yeah, agreed. Looking forward to this. Yeah. All right. So next up, I'm really into this story. So next up, we have Rian Johnson talking about his interpretation of the mirror scene in Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So in an interview, Johnson basically said that he wanted to create a parallel moment between, he wanted to create a parallel between that moment with Rey and the mirror scene, and Luke from the cave, from the Empire Strikes Back. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So he says, so our hero has to look inside herself for answers about how she fits into the story. It's not going to come from Luke or Kylo Ren or even her parents. Basically, it can be viewed as a moment as self-determination. but unfortunately the director decided not to give people the bloody play-by-play. So basically he's saying it's up for interpretation, but he wanted it to be similar to the Luke in the cave scene from Empire.
Yeah.
So everyone's interpretation is basically right.
This
what he's saying.
This is brilliant. I'm going to tell you exactly why this is brilliant. Number one, I've told everybody this all along when they complained about it, that it's up for interpretation. If you 100%. Interpret it one way, it's fine. It's not there for you to figure out. I've been telling people that for a long time. You can speculate and have fun with it, and that's great. And I have done the same. I'm guilty of that too. But like, it is up for interpretation. It is there to mirror.
All art is
the Empire scene.
All art,
I've been telling people this all along. This is the second reason why it's brilliant, because we talked about a little story last week that I still think is 100% happening, despite some of the naysayers out there thinking that he's not going to do his trilogy. He's absolutely going to do his trilogy. Him getting in the press, nipping some of these things in the butt, before people get too crazy about it, I think is just fantastic, and it's perfect. I mean, he's going to start to expound on kind of what he was going for, I think, in these films. And I find the scene to be even more brilliant just coming out of his mouth. Because when he says it and he describes it the way he did and the way that I've always taken it, it's like it verifies that the reason that I enjoy the movie, and this is not an insult to anybody, but the reason that I enjoy his movie so much is because I'm actually somebody who understood it. Like, I understood what he was trying to do. Maybe not the first time I saw it, maybe not even the second time I saw it, but by the third time, I definitely feel like I had a really good understanding of everything he was going for. And it doesn't make you dumb if you don't. He is an intelligent filmmaker. His movies he's not trying to make it easy. They're not easy. It's never been that way, and I feel like that's where a lot of this disappointment comes from with the Last Jedi film. And for me, this just solidifies why I love the film so much, is because I am actually somebody who understood where he was coming from and what he was going for, and that's really all it takes. I mean, I'm not saying to love the movie, but like, lean into it a little bit, people, because if you do, you might actually end up enjoying a Star Wars movie instead of hating one. There's so much great in this movie, and this is one of them, in my opinion. This scene is so fantastic. Everybody was like, I like this scene until there were multiple Reys, and then it got stupid, and I'm like, no, that is the idea. You're missing the point. Like, you are missing the point. This solidifies that you are missing the point. So that's where I'm at with this. But
nice. I'm curious to know, like, what, because I'll tell you my take on and really only after reading this is really solidifying this for me, that my take on the mirror scene is that it's like, there are so many versions of Rey that are possible, that she could be so many different things, and it's up to her to decide which one of those Reys she wants to be, like, the actual Rey. And it's, it's in a mirror, because, like, the reflection of that, and the person, like, well, I can't say for sure whoever's walking toward her, but, like, I always took that as, like, kind of help in that way, and how it ends up being her in the end, that it's like, the help is you, like, you're the one who needs to be, like, this is you're the one who needs to figure out which Rey is the real one.
There's something scratching up against your mic or something.
It might be.
I'm not sure.
But let me try this. Okay, we'll see if that helps at all.
I'm not hearing it anymore. Maybe. But anyway, cool. I just wanted to let you know. But the thing is like, for me, I think that is like the idea that Ryan was trying to get across. Anyway, exactly what you said. But on the same hand, it's like there's other reasons. Like, you got to dig deeper than that, because it's like, okay, so why did the mirror show her then? Why did, like, not in terms of the filmmaker's answer, but like in story in the story, you got to kind of dive in and think, like, okay, so why was it her that it's showing? Well, it's the dark side. It's dishonest. I think, and that's part of the seduction of it. That's what I think is going on, in all honesty, is it's part of the seduction of the dark side. It will be dishonest to turn you over to it, and the cave was a dark side cave. I think that that's mostly what it is to it. There is to it is that the dark side is going to give her the most disappointing answer that she can think of, just to be like, there's nothing for me out there. I'm nothing. I'm nobody. So I'm gonna turn over to the dark side. That's how I just interpret it. So that's me personally.
And if we ask Rian Johnson who's right, he'd say we're both right.
Right.
So
yeah, there's so much ambiguity in the movie, and that's not a bad thing. It's a brilliant thing.
Exactly.
It is. It's supposed to be brilliant, and you're supposed to have conversations about this, people, not arguments. Right. Conversations. I think he even says that somewhere, even down lower in the article.
He does, yeah. Do you want me to read the quote? It's quite funny.
Sure.
He says, if someone's responding to diversity negatively, F them. If anyone doesn't like the movie, I'm not saying that's why they didn't like it, but that's surprise. He said, I'm not saying that's why they didn't like it, ... It wasn't surprising at the time. I grew up as a Star Wars fan, and I grew up in my 20s when the prequels came out, as this whole idea that it's been sunshine and roses and suddenly everybody's yelling at each other is baffling to me.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, people. That's it.
That's it. The truth. All right. Ready for the next one?
Yeah. 100%.
All right. So next up, A24 to produce and finance Ari Aster's next pick, Disappointment Boulevard, starring Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, Mike drop.
Yes.
Need I say more?
Let me break this down for you folks. Let me tell you what's going on here. We got arguably the greatest movie studio in terms of the quality, not necessarily, money making, but like in terms of quality of film. This is arguably the best one working today. We one of the best directors working in the business right now, doing another movie, and both of his films are at least cult hits on some level, and he has just become such a name, even off his first movie, overnight. You got that guy. Then you got arguably the best talent in terms of acting in our industry, like right now, who's like incredibly hireable, like. This is what's going on here. It's a trifecta of amazing. And if you don't see that, you are insane. This is going to be a great movie. We haven't even seen a trailer yet, and we know this movie is going to be awesome. It's just the perfect combination. I mean, okay, small chance it could suck, but let's be real here. It's probably not going to suck. It's probably going to be incredible. And Ari Aster is one of the smartest men in the business because he's hiring a Joaquin Phoenix. Do you understand like how much more that elevates his name, like beyond what he already is? Like, he's going to be the next Tarantino. He's going to be the household name of the next household name in directing territory because he is just that smart and brilliant. He is bringing in a Joaquin Phoenix into a film, and people are going to go see it. And I think people will probably be blown away by what he does. It's just going to be that good, I think.
I couldn't agree more. This is for me, maybe the best movie studio currently producing films, with one of the best directors we have, with one of the best actors we have. Like, it's a match made in heaven. This is perfection. This is one of the smartest business decisions and creative decisions.
Yes.
One of the best things as a movie fan. I'm sure they're all so excited to work with each other. This is just awesome.
Yes.
This is everything.
Yes.
I cannot wait for this movie. I do not care what it's about. I don't even care if it's horror or not. It's going to be perfect.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing.
Yes. And
I put money on it now that it's going to be amazing.
And the way that Ari Aster just elevates performances from from his actors, I mean, it's just like, so we're going to get some seriously incredible Joaquin Phoenix shit here. That's how I feel.
Which I remember, I was talking about this on Stereo, but like I just, at this point in Joaquin Phoenix's career, post winning an Oscar, post Joker, like he has to be thinking like, okay, how do I step up my game again? What's the next level? What's the next step? What's the next crazy thing that I can do to push myself as an actor? it being an Ari Aster A24 hopefully horror film.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
And you get the greatest, like, I really hope it's a horror movie just because the performances that Ari Aster got out of Toni Collette and Florence Pugh in Hereditary and Midsummer are some of the best
Yeah.
performances I think of the 2010s.
Yeah.
And they are classic horror performances.
Yes.
And I think Joaquin Phoenix has that classic horror performance in him. And I mean, Ari Aster's just gonna bring out the absolute best in him. I just know it.
Yeah, I think that 100%. I mean, gosh, let's look at Joaquin Phoenix's resume, by the way, because Joaquin is a guy who does not, directors don't seek out Joaquin. Joaquin seeks out his filmmakers because, like, when you look at,
especially post Oscar, once you have an Oscar, you pick your projects after that. 100%.
Like when you take a look at Joaquin's resume, I mean, it's just insane. I mean, okay, so what was the first big thing that Joaquin did? Like outside, well, not, I'm sorry, Gladiator was the first big thing he did. I mean, he did Gladiator with Ridley Scott, who Ridley Scott's already known as one of the greatest directors of all time. Then what happened? M. Night Shyamalan became like one of the hottest directors on the market. Then he worked with him in Signs, and then I mean, I can go on all day with this. I mean, he works with Spike.
Walk the Line. Walk the Line is incredible.
Walk the Line. He was working with James Mangold, who was also really just, you know, coming in hot at the time. He recognizes good work. He just does. Who else did he work with? Paul Thomas Anderson. We're also Spike Lee on Her. I mean, he's got this resume of just incredible.
Or Spike Jones, right? I think Spike Jones was Her.
Spike Lee's I'm sorry, Spike Lee's the
it's Black Klansman. Do the right thing, right? I know. I get the two mixed up too. I get the two mixed up.
Jones. I'm sorry. He worked with Spike Jones on Her. That's right.
Yeah. I only recognize that because I get them mixed up too.
Yeah. Spike Jones is the Where the Wild Things Are guy. That's who Spike Jones is. Anyway, so he works with Spike Jones on Her, which probably ended up being Spike Jones's greatest movie. I mean, just let's be honest.
Really
it's just he finds these projects. I don't know how, but he's obviously talented, so people are going to say yes to him. But on the same hand, he's always had this career where he's just seeking out the filmmakers. Like if he sees a filmmaker is getting like super hot, he's going to go to them. I think that's kind of how the Todd Phillips thing might have kind of happened. I mean, it's just like with Joker is like he probably saw War Dogs and was like, he's going in a new direction. You know, so I'm going to go work with this guy now and let's see what he has for me. I think that's just how he works in his career. He is so smart and so incredibly talented. It's going to be, this is going to be something else. Joaquin Phoenix, I never fails. He never fails. I anymore anyway. He's always, these days, he has always been 100% on top of everything that he's done. And he is arguably the greatest actor of this generation anyway. So it's very, I'm excited. I'm so excited. This is the most exciting news to come out in like years, I think. Like it's
Me
so
too.
Cool.
It's perfect.
This is like the perfect marriage, exactly. It's awesome.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, couldn't agree more. All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah, sure.
Well, all right. This is also quite exciting. So, new book, Star Wars Queen's Hope, will return to the Clone Wars from Padme's point of view. So this is the third novel in E.K. Johnston's trilogy starring Padme. And this novel is going to cover from the end of Attack of the Clones through her death in Revenge of the Sith. So this is really, really exciting for me. I have not read the first two. I've heard they're incredible. They've been on my radar. And I know I would love them if I've read them. But this is, I think, some of the most fascinating times in Padme's life, and so much is going on. And like this article talks about, the author was talking about how she really enjoyed writing Anakin in this novel because like she's saying that while this is some of the darkest times in his life, it's also some of the happiest, and it's all the times where he's, you know, happy-go-lucky and, you know, really just falling in love with Padme. And you don't really get to see that much. And so if this is going to dive into that whole relationship and make it more than, you know, a small little picnic on Naboo, if we can get some more of that, then I might binge the first two books to read this. This sounds really incredible. What do you think?
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. There are many different types of Star Wars fans out there, and there are
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars fans that like swear by E.K. Johnston as being like their favorite Star Wars author, and that's great. Myself personally, I'm not one of them. I think that her first Star Wars book, Ahsoka, is one of the best novels
Right.
in the whole canon. 100%. Like, it's probably my second favorite Star Wars novel, her first one, Ahsoka. Queen's Shadow, the first book in the trilogy, was such a downgrade from that I actually didn't bother reading Queen's Peril. I probably will grab it at some point because this sounds really, really cool. So I think it's really smart, honestly, on E.K. Johnson's part to kind of build this as a trilogy, because I could read the
Yeah.
trilogy, go back to Queen's Shadow, and be like, oh, that was actually all really brilliant. It's really interesting to me what she's doing here, because Queen's Shadow is like the first book, but it's actually technically the second book because Queen's Peril goes before Queen's Shadow,
Right.
and then this is going to be the culmination of both of them. So I find that to be a really interesting strategy of release. I think that maybe she should have just put the first one out first, because I almost wonder if that like almost made it feel a little bit more like it's building a trilogy. Again, I haven't read it. I think I probably should pick it up. I liked Queen's Shadow, don't get me wrong. I just thought it was a big downgrade from the first Ahsoka novel that E.K. Johnston had done. And so, like, yeah, so when it came to Queen's Shadow, I was so excited for the book at the time because I loved E.K. Johnston's Ahsoka, and I was like, oh man, I'm not getting that same feeling that I was looking for when I read Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
But again, had a
It'd be
very,
interesting. Maybe I'll try to see if maybe like because I would love to just jump into this one, honestly.
yeah,
I'm like, Padme, I love you so much, but
yeah.
like this might be a fun one just to jump in.
Yeah, I'll try to
I don't
track
know,
down
'cause yeah.
Queen's Peril and read it. Maybe I could let you know how that one is, because, like,
Yeah.
honestly, I was thinking about giving it a shot because I'm like, okay, E.K. Johnston still wrote that incredible Ahsoka novel. Like, I have to remember that. Like, she could come
Hmm.
back and, like, make something that I love again like that, but it'll be difficult. But I think that she might be able to do that. And yeah, I mean, I agree. The Clone Wars era with Padme in it, I mean, that's, like, the most fascinating time, like you were saying. There are so many great like Padme moments in the Clone Wars series. I kind of wonder where in the Clone Wars this is going to take place, but yeah, again, I mean,
It said towards the article said towards the end of the
or the
Clone
end of the
Wars.
Clone Wars. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, yeah, I guess that makes some sense. I would
Yeah.
kind of like to see like a little bit before Revenge of the Sith, maybe ish time. I
Hmm.
mean, there's a whole part in the seventh season of Clone Wars where we don't really see. I don't think we see Padme much at all in the seventh season of Clone Wars. So
Hmm.
maybe this is the other end of that, just kind of showing like this is where what Padme was up to during that time of the seventh season. Yeah, that could be really, really cool. I mean, it'll be interesting. Maybe this is where she finds out about her pregnancy. I mean, it
That's what,
could be
yeah.
interesting.
Hmm. I think it, yeah, I'm thinking, I'm trying to think of maybe it probably, I'm sure it starts either right before they get married or right after, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in there. If it's going by the end of
Yeah.
Attack the Clones. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, maybe in some ways we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe is some type of expansion to Revenge of the Sith. I don't know, like the time
Right,
span of the
yeah.
book. You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
could really go like straight into Revenge of the Sith by the end of it. I mean, the first book, the epilogue of the first book, Queen Shadow goes into her death. In the
Mm.
epilogue of it, and it talks about, it was one of the best parts of the book. It talks about how one of her handmaidens actually like found it really suspicious, Padme's death, and that she's like, I'm not gonna rest until I figure out who killed Padme, kind of thing. And
Mm.
so like I almost wonder if E.K. Johnson's gonna do this trilogy and then spin off into that like handmaiden trilogy where she's off trying to solve the mystery of what Padme.
It's the Handmaid's
Right.
Tale, but it's that.
It'll be the Handmaid's Tale, except this one will
Yeah.
be called Queen's Gambit. But
The Queen's Gambit,
no,
yes.
listen, no, but seriously, this is like that's what I wanted to see after reading that first one. I was like, I hope that she does something with this, the handmaiden wanting to go solve the mystery of Padme's death, because that sounded like the more interesting story there. Obviously, she chose to focus all three books on Padme herself, so interesting. And yeah, I mean, it's really weird that she even did the book the way she did, because in the Phantom or sorry Queen's Shadow, that's taking place between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, which is like when she was like ending her service as queen.
Right.
So to me, I almost wonder how good a Queen's Peril could be, because it's like, is that like how she became the queen, or anything like that? Because like I don't know, I'd have to read the book, but and then this new one, Queen's Hope, is the one that obviously just by its premise interests me the most. So I'm probably gonna go pick up Queen's Peril now. Got to be honest, this is kind of talking me into it, just to see if it was any good or worth it, and I'll probably read that and then eventually get to this one. So it's exciting news. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally agree. Looking forward to it.
Oh,
I might pick this one up
yeah.
because I would love to read all of that from Padme's point of view for sure.
Sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So next up we got Zack Snyder's Netflix zombie movie Army of the Dead getting a release date and a handy poster. Did you see the poster?
I did.
It's quite funny.
I liked it.
I enjoyed it a lot. It's
Liked it
quite
quite a bit.
handy. Yes. And I believe when is the release date? Release date's dropping May 21st.
May
May 21st,
21st.
2021. Yes.
All right. So
On
yeah,
Netflix.
here's how I'm feeling about this. I'm excited. I like Zack Snyder, massive fan of his, so I'm excited about it anyway for that reason. I think it's going to be interesting that he's got two sort of projects coming out this year, but if we're counting the Snyder Cut, but I don't know how that's going to vibe. Like if I don't know how smart that is, only because if like the Snyder Cut completely bombs, then like nobody's gonna want to go see this movie. So I think it's like it might have not have been the best strategy, just like in terms of but there are like die hard like me Zack Snyder fans out there that will go see it, and maybe he's kind of relying on those, and maybe this is a film that caters toward those people. I don't know, but in my opinion, you're gonna need a really really strong trailer on the off chance that the Snyder Cut kind of bombs. So yeah, I would say that get a really strong trailer, get that marketing team together, and make something that's like really gonna sell the audience on this flick. I loved Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder's first film. I thought that he did a really really great job on following up sort of the George A. Romero Dawn of the Dead, and like it was not following it up, but like remaking it, I guess, is probably the best way to put it, in his own vision.
Yeah.
And giving us characters that we really liked in that movie. And yeah, I'm ready for another Zack Snyder zombie flick. Make it happen. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be great. It looks fun just from the poster alone, so I think it's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, I have not seen Dawn of the Dead. Not quite familiar with this project either. But again, it looks really fun. That poster looks dope.
Yeah,
I would watch it based on that poster.
yeah, me too. It looks really really fun. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, I think so as well. Nice. All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of Star Wars, Daisy Ridley lands her next lead movie role. So Daisy Ridley will be playing the role of Helena in The Marsh King's Daughter, an adaptation of Karen Dion's hit psychological thriller. And it will be directed by Neil Berger, who directed Limitless and Divergent. So Ridley will star as Helena, a woman living a seemingly ordinary life but hiding a dark secret. Her father is the infamous March King, a man who kept her and her mother captive in the wilderness for years. After a lifetime of trying to escape her past, Helena is forced to face her demons when her father unexpectedly escapes from prison. Sounds cool to me. I'm into it.
Yeah,
What do you
cool.
think?
I think it's awesome. I'm going to tell you what, the smartest thing that Daisy Ridley ever did in her whole career. This is the smartest thing she ever did. I'll tell you.
This?
No, 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 no. I'm about to tell you what it was.
All right.
Is
I was like, this?
earlier this year when she was asked about what she was doing next, and she
Mm-hmm.
said that she wasn't receiving any phone calls. I'm going to tell you why this
Right.
was incredibly smart. Because I promise you that that was not the case, but she says it.
Really? Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that she definitely was getting calls, but they probably weren't good calls, and they probably weren't anything that she was interested. So by saying that she's a free agent, I think was the smartest thing that she ever did in her career, because that means that the hottest directors in town are going to be after her. Like, and I think that this is kind of like going into that. You got the director of Limitless, amazing freaking movie. Hiring her for a thriller type deal. Yes, give this to me. Are you kidding me? Daisy Ridley is incredible. She is a wonderful actress.
Yes.
She's a wonderful personality. I think that, this is something that we want to see. And you know what happened too? When she said that she wasn't receiving calls, like a month later, we got that announcement that she's popping up in that new thriller that the Ready or Not guys are doing. So it's like,
really?
so that she's going to be leading that too. So I'm telling you, the second that she said
And
that
Chaos
earlier,
Walking.
yeah,
It's going to be in Chaos Walking
Right.
later this year.
right. Although that's been
Been
announced
filmed before. Yeah.
6 years ago. I think they
Yeah,
announced
yeah.
that project and
Yeah,
started filming
that's
it
the-
even
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
But no. But earlier, not this year. I'm sorry, 2020. When she said that earlier in 2020, I'm telling you, it's just like everybody's going to be knocking up her door, looking to get looking to get her in their film. It was incredibly smart from a PR standpoint to say that, I'm not getting calls. Nobody's calling me. Nobody's offering me a job, because then you're going to get, it just gets the attention of, some of the hottest new filmmakers in town, to really want to hire her and get on that.
And they know that they have more of a shot. They may be thinking like, oh, well, there's no way we can get Daisy Ridley for this.
Yeah.
But now they're like, oh, maybe we can.
Yeah.
So let's put a real offer in.
Yeah. Not calling Daisy Ridley a liar, but PR statements. That's how
that's how it
works.
A business strategist.
I think it was a business strategy, and I think it definitely got people coming knocking up her way just to be like, hey, come be in this movie. I mean, if I was a filmmaker, I'd be all over hiring her right now. It makes a lot of sense. I think that we're going to see a lot more of this moving forward too. I think with her
definitely
popping up as a lead and a lot more things. I don't think that this is nearly the last of it. I just think that this is what we're getting for now. Obviously the pandemic slowed down a lot of casting news for different things, but I bet you she's working on like 5-6 different things right now that we just haven't heard about. So this is just one of them. So
and she's in a great spot in her career as well, because I mean the gripes people have about the Star Wars trilogy, I mean, some people in the first one say that her acting isn't as good as it later gets, but I mean, the no one's real problem with the Star Wars trilogy was Daisy Ridley as a person, or her acting, really. So, I mean, she ended Rise of Skywalker like in an incredible spot, being like, she has a whole franchise like behind her on her resume, and now she's proven that she can do things. So I feel like she can do whatever she wants.
Absolutely.
Go whichever direction she wants to go at this point.
Yeah, 100%. And then, she'll go out, she'll do some really incredible projects. I think, like, really incredible projects. I really do think she will be working with some of the best filmmakers out there to do those.
Right.
And I think that she will... so she'll do those. She's set for money. She's not looking to make paycheck movies. So she's set for money. She's going to go make some of the most incredible projects out there, just things that are passionate to her. And then we'll see her pop back up in Star Wars in 25 years or so. And that's going to be her
they
career.
always do.
Yeah. It's just, I'm sure that's what's going to happen. So I'm excited. Anytime I get casting news with her. Yeah.
We get old woman Rey in so that's how, that's how she'd come back. She'd be like the wise old, Jedi master now that they have to talk to.
Directed by Ryan Johnson.
Old
Rey, a Star Wars story directed by
Old Man Rey.
I actually would love to see her work with Ryan again too. That's another
That'd be cool.
thing. I think that
in 25 years.
No,
Yeah.
just in general, like in a different project
But for
outside of
like,
Star
right,
Wars.
yeah.
Yeah, like I would like to definitely see him hire her back up, maybe for Knives Out 2. Maybe that announcement's
That
coming
would be
down
really
the way.
cool.
It's possible. I
That'd be
could
really
see it.
cool.
He could be her next. She could be his next Ana de Armas. You know that he
Yeah.
wants to kind of make the victim. You know again,
Right.
and just yeah, that would be really really fun if he did something like that with her. I would love to see those two work together again.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think there's a lot of projects with her coming down the way, and I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, same. Looking forward to that. All right. So next up, the Elder Scrolls 6 gameplay footage leaks, quote unquote, online, but is it real? So the Elder Scrolls 6 gameplay footage was leaked, quote unquote, online. But some fans on Reddit are debating whether it's real or not. We are not quite sure. The leak did come from 4chan and it was flagged, but that is so we may or may not have some leaked footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much. They've said the publisher I cannot Bethesda has no comment thus far, so we're
Bethesda.
still
Bethesda.
unclear.
Bethesda.
Bethesda, thank you. What did I say?
Bastada.
Whatever.
Whatever. Bethesda. Yeah.
That Vesta, thank you.
I'm sitting there like, is she
Bethesda.
trying to order some Mexican food over here? What's going on? But
Bethesda.
Bethesda. Yeah. Anyway,
Bethesda. Oh my God. I'm bad with words sometimes.
it's all
I
right. It's all
apologize.
right. Okay, so here's outside of the debate. Um, Elder Scrolls 6 is something that absolutely needs to happen. It's just this is one of those franchises. Another one I wanted Ian on because it was he could
Mhm.
speak to this so much more. He
Right.
loves Skyrim and all that, but Elder Scrolls 6. I love Skyrim too, but just not as much as him. But anyway, Elder Scrolls 6 needs to happen. This is about the extent I'll go into it. It's so smart to leak footage because I think that this is a franchise that's in a dying point. So if you are going to leak footage for any game franchise, it's this one because it's dying down. It's kind of in this place where it's like the online game they made wasn't received too well. So it's in this really weird spot where it's still got a following, but like I think that leaking footage is smart. It gets the name back into the conversation. So if I had to guess, they probably did leak some footage. I just think it creates some hype around it, and it makes it's smart business. It just puts it back in the news and makes it a big thing. And yeah, I definitely think that they probably did leak the footage, and yeah, why not? I mean, if you got something
Yeah.
that's failing, leak some footage for your next thing, and then
Right.
create some hype around it, and yeah, people will be excited to talk about this again or play these, play these games again. And of course they're not going to comment on it right now, it's like, yeah, just yeah, that's that, we're just going to put it out there. And it's like the Facebook posts and Instagram posts, like people I'm just going to leave this here. It's like that. You know what I mean? How people
Hmm.
say that in their posts. It's same thing here. It's just like they're just going to leave it out there and see what happens. And
Yeah.
it's obviously got them talking about it. I definitely think that this is legit. And they yeah, just wanted to get people talking about this game franchise. Again, I am so excited to play another Elder Scrolls game. I think I've been craving an updated version of sort of what they did with Skyrim. I think that it's just, yeah, make more of these for sure. Make them good. Make them as addicting as Skyrim was when it came out. I am super stoked for sure.
This is nice. Again, don't know much about it.
Fair enough.
Don't really
Fair
have any
enough.
thoughts. Nice. Well, this next story I do have some thoughts on. The
Okay.
Nightmare Before Christmas is getting a sequel. It's
Yes, it
getting
is.
a young adult novel sequel. So Disney Publishing has hired Shay Earnshaw to pen a YA novel set after the 1993 film. So the new story, which is currently untitled, is going to be told from Sally's point of view and begins sometime after her first kiss with Jack Skellington on Spiral Hill, with the two now married. So a new adventure begins for Sally when she accidentally sets a Halloween Town villain free. The villain puts Jack, Halloween Town, and the other holiday themed towns in the film's universe, including at least one the fans have never seen before, in danger. I actually am really into this. When I first read it, I was like, oh God, a Nightmare Before Christmas sequel? Like, are you kidding me? And then I was like, oh, that's Sally's point of view.
It's something
I can
different.
roll with that. Sequel. I was like, oh, it's like her kind of dealing with that. I can get with that.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I don't know if I could take, Jack doing this again. I don't know if I would have liked that, but I like the new spin that they're putting on, and they're saying it's gonna be also kind of like a coming of age story with Sally, similar to like the first one's Jack's, and then this one is gonna be Sally's. I'm kind of into this. I think I might pick this up.
For sure.
This sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, no, this is really cool. It's a new take on this whole thing, and yeah, if you're gonna do something more with it, definitely do something different. Don't do the same thing you did the first time.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just one of these properties because people aren't gonna like it very much. I don't think if you just do something very similar, and yeah, so to kind of go from the Sally point of view is a very cool and interesting take and idea. I don't know who will direct this thing. That we still don't have any news on that.
It's just a book right now.
Oh, it's just a book? It's not
Yeah,
getting adapted into a movie?
Yes. Not yet.
Oh, okay. My bad. I misread the article. I did look at it and I misread it. Okay, so book. Okay, yeah, so it's a book. It's fun too. Yeah, definitely make the book.
Yeah.
Make the book.
Make the book at least. Yeah.
I think we were talking about the Michael Keaton DC thing. How they're going to make them into comics last week.
Right.
And this is kind of the same thing for me. Like, yeah, this is why not do this? This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would like to see a movie at some point, but it's okay. I mean, great. I don't know who would direct this into a movie or make this into a movie. I'd be interested to see who they got to do that at some point if they ever wanted to go down that route. Because it sounds like a really really it sounds like movie material to me. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Right.
I think that would be like a lot of fun.
Well, I know also they did the same thing with Hocus Pocus a few years ago. There was a young adult official, like Disney official sequel that it was like you gotta bind up, like whoever wrote the sequel also did like wrote the novelization for Hocus Pocus, so it was like the first half was novelized Hocus Pocus and then the second half was a new sequel.
Gotcha.
So they've done things like this before.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just my ideas are swirling in my head of who would direct this though already. I just, if they made it, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I mean, obviously I would like it a lot because it wouldn't be called Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas 2. It would be called something else. It would just be called Nightmare Before Christmas 2 or whatever the book's going to actually be called or whatever. But the thing is,
The Nightmare After Christmas.
Right. Yeah. Something like that. And you get rid of the Tim Burton name up top so people quit getting confused about who actually directed that first movie. Was not Tim Burton, people, just based
Henry
off
Selick.
his story. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for being smart.
I know this because all the time people are like, yeah, Tim Burton directed Nightmare Before Christmas, and so I have it memorized. You can be like, no, it's Henry Selick. It's Tim Burton's, directed by Henry Selick.
Yeah.
Also directed Coraline, which is a great movie. People also think that Tim Burton directed Coraline.
It's based on a short story Tim Burton wrote forever.
Yes.
That's it. That's the only thing to it. But the movie itself,
think he might have produced it, maybe.
He might have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he really has anything else to do with it, though.
Yeah.
But either way, so.
Also, what do you think? So it says that we're gonna get other a holiday themed town that we've never seen before. So do you think that means one that like we've seen a door for already but haven't explored, or are we gonna get a brand new holiday?
Absolutely, I think it's gonna be a new door. I think it'll be a new door or a door we'd seen but like didn't go through. Like I think that's part of the mystery of this world is that, you know what I mean? I would love to see something like that. Yeah, go through a new door.
I just selfishly, because my birthday is on April Fool's Day, I would love for them to add an April Fool's door. Just saying. April Fool's Land. Jokes all the time. It's just comedians running wild.
That'd be cool. We could do that. We can get some if we ever made it into a movie, get some like comedian cameos in there.
Oh my gosh.
Like that'd be cool. Yes. I like that idea. That's good.
April Fool's Land. That. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm the queen of it, obviously. It's my birthday, obviously.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna fuck with you so bad on your birthday. But anyway.
Most do. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, that is a terrible day to have a birthday. But anyway.
It's fun though. I like it.
I'm sure.
I've grown to love it. Yeah.
No, but this book sounds fun. I might pick it up. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the film. Yeah, same way again with the Michael Keaton things, the Batman, how they're going to continue with his Batman in the comic series. It's the same attitude I have toward that. It's like I'm definitely probably going to pick this up because it's a continuation of a story I love, and it's canonical, I believe, with the first film. So yeah, let's do it.
Sounds like
let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm ready. Let's read it. All right. So last but not least, we got the Snyder Cut's Martian Manhunter revealed on the Justice League comic cover. So there's a comic for an official comic for Zack Snyder's The Justice League featuring Martian Manhunter, who we have yet to see any real footage or pictures from. So yeah, what do you think of these images? I don't know that much about the character. So I can't speak much to, being more or less excited about it.
I think I should probably read all the stories that are on the Facebook page before I come into a show. I don't know much about this either. I did catch a glimpse at the character. He looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
If Jareth was here, he'd be able to expound on this a lot more.
Yeah. It's the article says that it's the cover suggests a fairly comic book faithful approach to Martian Manhunter, though one that emphasizes his gangly Martian form rather than his more rounded and muscular superhero look.
Okay.
That seems to be general thoughts.
No, I'm into it. If you want to. I like new characters. I'm that guy. When it's characters, maybe not new, but like characters I don't know a lot about, I'm definitely more into them. So, I'm good with it. Yeah, make it happen. Make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a lot of people that will be more into this than I am currently, and
right.
But I probably should have read through this a little bit more and done more research. But it's all right. We're here. We're talking about it. I'm sure Jareth put that in there to mess with me, so he snuck that in there on you. But anyway, I'm sure that was the whole idea here. But Jareth, good job. And this is definitely one that. I'm into it. Again, I like new things. Again, I really am interested in new characters, new ideas, new whatever. So, or things I don't know about, at least, or learning about things I don't know about. And make it happen. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
All
right. That's all we got.
That's all the news today.
That's all the news.
All right, guys. Well,
there is, before we leave, there is one more thing. It's not on the news, but have you heard of, two other things, actually. Sorry, two other things. One, though, that the Spider-Man 3 cast is trolling all of us currently.
No.
You seen this?
Please go.
So I believe Tom Holland, Zendaya, and another cast. I don't remember who the other person was, but they all tweeted out the official title for Spider-Man 3 is here. I'm gonna drop it for you guys, and they all posted different titles. One was Spider-Man 3 Phone Home, one was Homelander, one was they were all just ridiculous names that are, so we can count those out maybe for being the real name. But there's some, people are saying multiverse, that's the reason behind this, that they're, thrown in multiple versions and
possibly.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely they just all got together and said, "Hey guys, this will be funny."
Well, I'm sure they needed Marvel approval. I'm sure.
You think so?
At some point, I would think.
If they're fake titles, though, if they're not actually spoiling, I don't know.
Tom Holland and Zendaya, though, I think, but they they also posted official photos.
That's a good point.
Official set photos and stuff.
Okay, so that's probably true. If it was Tom Holland and Zendaya, they probably need sign off. Yes.
They did home slice, phone home, and home wrecker.
Oh wow.
Were the three fake names that they all posted.
One of them could be it though, too. Like
One of them
let's
could be
not
it.
count it out, because like
That's true.
it's not like that these movies aren't, you know, I mean, let's be honest, the Spider-Man titles are actually ridiculous when you look at them. They're kind of fun, and they're not like,
and we all know it's going to be home something.
Yeah. So
my count is still on Homesick. That's been my bet.
Interesting. That could be it.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be it. Yeah, it'll be something with home in it, and I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it could be one of them. And who knows? Who knows? I mean, they really probably got together, thought this was funny, got the Marvel sign off to do this very funny thing that they thought was going to be hilarious. And yeah, I'm sure that was the idea behind it. But I wouldn't read into it too much, you know?
Yeah. But it seems fun. We got, and and then another thing, which we can, again, with my WandaVision thoughts, that I am 100% convinced Reed Richards or Sue Storm are showing up in WandaVision. I'm 100% convinced, and this adds to a why. So this is like a real, this is, oh man. Oh, when he shows up, you're going to be like, I should have believed her. I should have believed her.
No, I'll give you the credit if he does. I'm not 100% convinced. I'm more convinced now after hearing the thing you're about to talk about.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So this is a real thing. It's called Inspiration 4, and it's NASA is doing this like commercial space travel program where you donate a crap ton of money to the St. Jude's Hospital, and then you get the opportunity to go through like space travel training with astronauts at NASA, and then it's a 6-person cruiser type of thing. And you take a trip that's going to orbit around Earth, and then you have a soft landing in Florida, near an ocean near Florida. And there's a lot, and the big thing about this is that they are announcing their crew on Friday, and they have a countdown to it. Now, the interesting thing about this is that there are 6 people that can go, and there are currently 2 listed officially. There's another woman and the man who is the founder of it, or the one who's, running the whole situation, which leaves, guess what, 1, 2, 3, 4 spots on this astronaut space mission, asking civilians to come to space. And I mean, this is real, so it's hard for me to say that this doesn't seem safe, but to me, it's like, that's so sketchy. Like, someone's getting superpowers, something's going wrong. You just know something's going wrong. But the big thing is the countdown to Friday, where the next 4 crew members of this mission will be revealed, which is also the exact date and time that this next episode of WandaVision drops. So I forget who brought this to our attention, but it was brought to our attention on Stereo.
I want to thank Dr. Alchemy for this. He brought this to our attention. I thought that was really, really interesting. So thank you for that, bud. But, this is a really, really cool thing. It's interesting for sure. Does it have me 100% convinced? No, but it definitely adds more possibility to it, in my opinion. Like, there's the percentage in my mind did get higher actually by quite a bit after reading this in my head, because this was something that was dropped at the Super Bowl, the original ad for it, right? So that's Disney, obviously they have to pay to make the ads, but they don't have to pay for licensing to put them on at the Super Bowl. So why not do something like this? If I was Disney, I probably would. That sounds fun to me. It's called Inspiration. This sounds like 4. I mean,
yes, it is. It's to add to it, it's called Inspiration 4. But this is one of those things where if it turns out to be just like complete BS, then it's like, oh fine, that was fun speculation. But if this is true, this is awesome. I think
definitely it's gonna
blow, it's gonna blow my mind.
It's gonna be huge.
The most satisfying of feelings.
100%.
If this is true,
maybe that'll be the commercial they do this week too. You know what I mean?
That would be insane
for the episode.
Right. Because have you heard the theory of how all the commercials? Well, like the main theory is that they're all based on Wanda's traumas that she's experienced.
Right.
But also that they're based on like the Infinity Stones.
Right.
Have you heard this? And I believe we've done all 6 so far. So possible.
Yeah, for sure. I'm into it. Yeah, if this is a really, really cool thing. It's a cool theory. It's a cool story.
Yeah.
Just a lot of fun to kind of speculate around and do I think it's 100%? No, I am not by any means, but I'm on 100% convinced yet. I think it would be cool if John Krasinski and Emily Blunt pop up in the series. I mean, people are going to lose their minds whether they're like crazy familiar with Fantastic Four or not. They're gonna lose their minds. This is like America's power couple right now. So they're like, everybody's gonna love this if they show up. And this is really, really awesome and very sneaky on Disney's part. And so I mean, I'm interested. We'll see. I cannot wait. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool, guys. So want to thank everybody for joining today. Once again, I have been Dom Martino, and Sammy, want to thank you for reading the news and doing so well with everything you do here. And also, where can the people find you before we go?
Yeah, so the people, you can find me on Instagram at Sammy Ramirez 14, as well on Twitter and Stereo at Sammy Ramirez.
All right. And you can find me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_ and on Instagram Dom_Martino_ official. So be sure to follow us on those accounts. Also, guys, if you want a lot of extra content, we've been on Stereo like crazy, just doing some extra stuff, and we stay on there for 3-4 hours sometimes. So you definitely go over there and check that out if you want some extra stuff, and if you want to interact with us too, because you can put in your own voice notes and things like that. And that's been like some of the most fun that we've ever had, is just talking with you guys on Stereo. It's really nice to be able to interact with you fans on there. So please go follow our Stereo accounts at Dom Martino and at Sammy Ramirez. So that would be much appreciated. And just to wrap this up, if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comments section, and share this with your friends if you haven't done so already. Once again, I have been Dom Martino. This has been Sammy Ramirez. This has been another episode of Dom's Corner, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.